I have talked about user testing and userlytics on this channel before, but a new contender has just entered the ring. UserBrain is another usability testing platform. For those who don't know, companies pay a lot of money fine-tuning their customer experience. User research is a whole industry, and part of a user researcher's job is to test whether or not random customers will understand the designs of their apps or websites. Essentially, they want to create an intuitive experience. They run different tests with random people to see what they think and how they interact with their platform. To be a tester in this field, all you need to do is sign up for any of the countless websites that offers this sort of thing. Fill out your profile and then take tests that are offered to you. The test will usually have you interact with a prototype of a website or app on your phone or computer and cycle through different tasks that they want you to do while you think out loud during the process. They usually have plugins that record your screen and voice as you do the test. As an example, if I was doing a test for YouTube, I might have a task that says figure out how many subscribers you have. And I will speak out loud and say, to figure out how many subscribers I have, I'm going to go to this icon on the top right of my screen because that's where all my profile information is. And yep, I can see my subscriber count there. They want to hear your thought process of how you get to whatever you're trying to accomplish. That's what usability tests are like in a nutshell. I've earned over $10,000 doing these types of tests in the past year. It's just been such a great side hustle. Most of that money has been made on a platform called User Testing, and I have a full video about it. I'll link it below if you want to get started with that. I'm always looking for more platforms to add to my arsenal of money-making websites, and I just discovered UserBrain. I have personally never heard of UserBrain until I saw a comment referencing it on a random Reddit thread a week ago. I signed up and did the practice test, and I was just approved of it yesterday, and I've done 3 tests today. Signing up is really easy. All you have to do is fill out your profile with very basic information. It's not nearly as in-depth as other platforms I've used that ask you everything about you. It's just like your name, your address, things like that. And then you're going to record a practice test. Super simple. Just make sure that your device works and you understand like the basic way of how you should conduct a usability test. I will go over how to pass this practice test later in the video, but right now let's talk about pay, because that's kind of why you're here, right? You want to make money. UserBrain only pays $5 per test. User testing pays $10 per test. So obviously that's not ideal. You're not going to make as much money on UserBrain, but there are a couple benefits that I've seen so far that I think might make it worth it. So first big one is that the screener questions are way shorter. So before you start a test on any of these platforms, you have to answer questions in a screener to just make sure that you're part of the demographic that they want to test. As an example, TripAdvisor would only want to test people that have gone on a trip recently. So they'll ask you questions in your screener if you have gone on a trip and maybe a couple questions about the trip and what type of trip it was. User testing will have screeners that are between 5 to 12 questions long typically. And they can be really annoying to fill out because sometimes you won't fail the screener until you get to the very last question, and you'll spend a couple minutes filling out the screener. On UserBrain, the longest screener that I have had has been 3 questions long. So definitely a lot quicker than user testing, which is great. And number 2, the tests are a lot shorter. On user testing, tests are typically between 5 to 10 minutes, but I have spent over 30 minutes on a single test before. They all pay the same no matter how long you spend on them. But on UserBrain, I have not spent more than 5 minutes on a test thus far. Who knows if this will stay consistent down the line, but that has been my experience so far. It just seems like all in all, it takes up a lot less of your time to do UserBrain tests. Now, even if you took 10 minutes to do a UserBrain test, that still works out to effectively $30 an hour. It's not as good as user testing, which would be $60 an hour, but it's still a pretty good side hustle, and there's no risk involved at all. I would absolutely recommend anyone at least try it if you have any sort of spare time and you don't want to leave the house. If you've gotten this far and you are interested, you can sign up for UserBrain's website on your laptop or a computer. Just make sure you download the app on your phone afterwards. After you sign up, they'll have you take a practice test. I personally took the practice test on my phone. I don't know if you can do it on your computer instead, but it was really simple and easy to do it on my phone. Before you start the practice test, make sure that you put your phone on Do Not Disturb mode. You don't want to get any calls or texts interrupting you during it because your screen's going to be recording what's on there the entire time on the practice test. I don't know if the practice test is different for everybody, but for me personally, I had to look at an e-commerce store that revolved around toys and baby stuff. All you have to do is really read every question out loud as you do the test. Literally speak all of your thoughts, the good and the bad. It might feel kind of awkward if you've never done something like this before and you aren't talking to anybody, so you're just kind of speaking into the void, so to speak, which doesn't really come naturally to a lot of people, but I promise the more you do them, the easier it gets. If a task says you have to navigate to a certain point on the website, explain your thought process on why you might think it will be in a certain section. If a task asks how easy it was to figure out, compare it to other websites you've used and give your honest feedback on if it was either easy or hard to navigate. Do not feel bad about leaving negative feedback on these tests. This is exactly why researchers are conducting these tests, and they legitimately want to hear all the good and the bad. They don't want to be surrounded by yes men that say, oh, this is absolutely perfect. Great work on your website. You're not going to get extra points for doing that, and it's not helpful for them because they're not going to make any changes to make their app or website more intuitive because you are lying to them about how easy it was to navigate. Of course, you should be professional and be respectful, but don't hold back your negative feedback. They need to hear this. They want to hear this. They usually aren't the ones that actually created the UI design, so you're not going to be hurting anyone's feelings. After you submitted the practice test, it took a week for mine to be approved, so it might take a week for yours. Afterwards, you just periodically check the app and take tests as you see them. There's also an extension that you can download on your computer that goes like right into your Chrome browser, and it'll tell you if there are any tests available on your computer or if there are any tests available on your phone and there's not available on the computer, so you know when to switch to it. And then vice versa, the app on your phone will tell you if there are any tests available, and if there are not, it'll tell you if there are any tests available on your computer, so you can switch to your computer if you see there's something available. And that's it. Definitely check it out. I think that it is very worth it. If you're looking for more ways to make money by doing side hustles online, I would absolutely sign up for user testing and cloud research if you haven't already. It is super easy to do. I'll have links available in the description so you can watch my videos about those. It makes up a bulk of my side hustle income, and I can do it all from home, which is really nice. I don't have to go out doing DoorDash or Uber Eats if I want to make a little bit of extra money. So I would definitely recommend it. And also, there's no risk involved in any of these platforms. You don't have to pay any money to do anything. You literally just sign up and then you do the work. Subscribe for more money making tips.